Once upon a time, there lived a young couple named Peter and Mary. Peter and Mary had been married for over 15 years, and their life appeared to be perfect to everyone around them. They are blessed with 2 children, David, a 15-year-old boy, and his younger sister, Isabel, who just turned 10 years old. Peter is an extraordinary man, known for his diligence and dedication, both at work and at home. As an engineer, his job requires him to travel to different towns frequently, but he never let this interfere with his primary commitment to his family. Peter works so hard so he can provide for his family. Ensuring they never lacked anything was his main responsibility. His wife, Mary, and their 2 children, Isabel and David, were his world. Peter is always approached by women, impressed by his loyalty and dedication, but he remains faithful to Mary. Rejecting all advances, he is so proud of his commitment to his marriage. His beautiful wife, Mary, is a kind, gentle secondary school teacher with a perpetually kind smile. She is the kind of teacher students remember fondly after their graduation. She has an uncanny ability to make every student feel valued. All her colleagues are sometimes jealous of her because she's the student's favorite. Whenever Peter is not working, he will do all the house chores. He will wake the children up in the morning, bathe them, prepare breakfast for them, and also get them ready for school. He helps them with their assignments when they get back from school. He will always visit the school on their open day. He takes them out to their favorite restaurant to get snacks and will sometimes take them to the cinema to see a movie. Whenever Peter is around, his wife, Mary, is always happy and relaxed, as she will barely do anything around the house because she knows that her husband will do everything and take good care of everyone. One morning, Peter got a call from his company stating that he had to travel to another town for a job. He informed his wife, Mary, and she was not happy. She never likes it when he goes out of town to work, as she always feels lonely and neglected. Peter, preparing to begin his journey, said to his wife, Mary, "I will miss you all. Take good care of the house and the children. Don't forget to call me if you need anything." Mary, not looking too happy, said to Peter, "We will all miss you too, my husband. Be good and make sure you don't look at another woman's face while you are away." Peter smiled, replied, saying, my wife. You know I have eyes for you only. You are my everything. You and the kids complete me." After a few days, Mary got a call from David's school that he had fainted and had been rushed to the hospital. Mary, confused and scared, left everything she was doing and rushed down to the hospital to see her son. She quickly reached out to her husband and informed him about the situation. On hearing the news, Peter was scared and hurriedly traveled back home to see his son. Getting to the hospital, Peter saw his son, David, lying in a hospital bed, pale and weak. He held his hand, praying silently for God's intervention. Mary stands nearby, looking worried but composed. The doctor informed them that David was diagnosed with a severe kidney disease, and a kidney transplant was his only hope. He would need a donor if he wanted to live. The news shattered Mary and Peter. No parent will be happy to see their child in pain. They were sad and will always cry to God for his mercies. David's condition deteriorated rapidly. The search for a suitable donor began, but as time passed, the chances of finding a match grew slimmer. Peter, desperate to save his son as he could not bear to see him in pain any longer, decided to donate his kidney. Mary, on hearing this, was scared to death. Mary told her husband, Peter, saying, "I know you love your son and will do anything to save his life. But why don't you let us wait for a little while Maybe God will send someone our way. I can't afford to lose both of you. I wouldn't be able to live with the trauma." Peter, who had already made up his mind, replied to Mary, saying, "I can't watch him suffer any longer. It is killing me inside. I will go to the doctor tomorrow to see if I am a perfect match for him, and I will proceed to donate one of my kidney if it is positive." Peter got tested the next day and found out that he was a perfect match. He didn't hesitate to give himself up as a donor, despite his fears and the risk involved. He was determined to save David. The surgery was successful and David's health gradually improved. Peter's selfless act brought a renewed sense of normalcy to their lives. After a while, David returned to school and graduated a year later. Peter and Mary were very proud of their son. They both thanked God for making them smile again. A few days after David's graduation, Peter decides to sponsor David to study abroad in America. Peter shares the good news with his wife and his son, saying, "Okay guys, I have a good news I'd like to share. I have decided to sponsor David to travel abroad. He will go to America to continue his studies." Mary and David jumped up, jubilating and singing songs of praise. David was so excited about the news. He had always dreamt of traveling abroad. Mary prays for her husband with great excitement and happiness. They immediately started applying to several schools, and David finally got admission. Peter and David will practice all day as he prepares to go for his visa interview. His interview day arrived and his visa was granted. Peter and Mary were so happy. They thanked God for his unending mercy on their family. And after a few months of preparation, David left for his studies. Years passed and the family settled back into their routine. Just when they thought everything was back to normal and their lives were better, their younger daughter, Isabel, fell seriously ill and was also taken to the hospital. She would cry every day and night and complain of being in serious pain. Several tests was done to know what was actually wrong with Isabel. After a while, the doctor got back to Peter and Mary and told them that she would require a blood transfusion and it has to be done as soon as possible. The family once again began to worry and fear. They knew the pain they felt years ago when their son David was seriously ill. They prayed to God never to experience such pain again in their lives. Peter, who will go any length to sacrifice for his children, volunteered to donate his blood. He was confident in his ability to help his daughter, just as he helped David years ago. Mary objected and begged Peter not to go ahead with his plan. Peter and Mary had several arguments because she wouldn't let him donate his blood to their daughter. After many back and forth arguments between Peter and Mary, Peter secretly went to the hospital to inform the doctor about his choice to donate blood to his daughter. The doctor ran several tests to make sure Peter is a perfect match and to check if he is perfectly fit to donate blood to his daughter. After going through so many procedures, the doctor informed him that he couldn't donate blood to Isabel because he wasn't her biological father. Peter was stunned and shocked, telling the doctor saying, "What? Impossible. How could this be? Are you going to run the test properly again? Because I don't believe you did it right. Can you run it again, please?" Peter requested for a new test to be done, but the results remained the same. Peter wouldn't agree with the doctor. He proceeded to run the test in 3 different hospitals. All results are the same. he is not the biological father of Isabel. The news was like a dagger to Peter's heart. Despite all the test results, he finds it hard to believe that his beautiful, sweet little girl belongs to another man. How? Unknowingly to Mary, Peter sent for David to come back home to see his sister, but he also had other plans for him. He is curious. He wants to know if his intelligent, loving boy, David, is also not his biological son. Mary was surprised to see David when he came back home. After a while, Peter didn't hesitate to run a DNA test to confirm his doubts. Boom! The results came back and Peter almost had an heart attack. He almost ran mad. He was running temperature and feeling cold at the same time. He couldn't believe all this was truly happening to him. His favorite boy is not his biological son. How? This is a dream. Someone please wake me up. This is the only thing Peter keeps saying as he burst into tears. One day, Peter decided to confront Mary and showed her the paternity test results, saying, "Explain this, Mary. How could you lie to me all these years? Please tell me all these results are fake and the kids are mine. Please, Mary, tell me I'm dreaming and wake me up." After hearing all Peter had to say, Mary was shocked, cornered, and unable to lie anymore. She had to confess everything. She confessed to Peter that she had been in love with her ex-boyfriend Boniface even before marrying Peter. She stated how her love for Boniface never faded and that she married Peter for financial security. She said Peter offered her a stable life, but her heart belonged to Boniface. Over the years, Mary managed to keep her affairs with Boniface a secret, meeting him whenever Peter was away for work. Mary's double life continued for a decade. She skillfully deceived everyone to think she is a decent woman and a devoted wife. Peter, busy with work and unaware of her betrayal, trusted her completely, as his wife never gave him a reason to doubt her loyalty. On hearing Mary's confession, Peter was devastated. He had dedicated his life to a family that wasn't biologically his. His world fell apart. The betrayal cut him deep, and he struggled to process the truth. Mary's infidelity had shattered the foundation of their marriage. Peter felt lost, betrayed, and unable to digest the fact that the woman he loved so much could deceive him for a very long time. David and Isabel were equally shocked by the revelation. They had always seen Peter as their father, and the news of the DNA results was a heavy blow. They felt betrayed and were confused about their identity. Peter found solace in his work, but the pain of the betrayal lingered. He found it difficult to concentrate, and his colleagues noticed the change in him. They offered their support, but Peter felt isolated and alone, struggling to come to terms with the new reality. Mary was filled with so much remorse. She realized the extent of the pain she has caused her husband Peter and their children. Her affair with Boniface, once a source of joy, now seemed like a terrible mistake. She wanted to make amends, but she didn't know where to begin. Mary's ex, Boniface, was informed about his daughter's illness. He agreed to donate his blood to Isabel. After a while, Isabel got better and she was discharged from the hospital. Peter, who couldn't live with Mary anymore because he felt betrayed, met with his lawyer, as he had already decided to divorce his wife. His heart was heavy, but he knows it's the right decision. During the divorce proceedings, Mary shocks everyone by demanding for half of Peter's wealth. Peter couldn't believe that Mary would ask for such despite all she had done. But based on the evidence, Mary's requests of half of Peter's assets were denied. Despite the betrayal, Peter's love for David and Isabel remained strong. He had raised them, cared for them, and sacrificed for them. He promised to continue to sponsor David as he is yet to complete his studies abroad. The bond they shared was unbreakable, and Peter was determined to be there for them, regardless of their biological ties. Peter moves on with his life, starting afresh, began to heal after a while. He focused on his work and found new hobbies to keep himself occupied. Gardening became a therapeutic escape for him. As he tended to his plants, he found solace in their growth and a reflection of his own healing process. David and Isabel will often visit him regularly, offering him support. One day, David said to Peter, saying, "Dad, you are still our father. We love you." Isabel also chipped in, saying, "We are sorry for everything, Dad." On hearing all this, Peter replied David and Isabel, saying, "I love you both more than anything. We will all get through this together." As they continued to have quality time together, they shared meals, laughter, and stories, reinforcing the bond they had with their father, Peter. Despite the truth about their parentage, Peter remained their father in every way that mattered. After a long time, David went back to America. He excelled in his studies and made new friends. The distance helped him process the emotional drama back home. He remained in touch with Peter, sharing his achievements and seeking advice whenever he faced challenges. Isabel, too, began to find her footing. She channeled her emotions into her studies and extracurricular activities. She excelled in sports and arts, finding joy in expressing herself creatively. Mary, on the other hand, decides to go back to her ex, Boniface, and begs him to take her back. Boniface saying coldly to Mary, "You chose your path, Mary. You have to deal with the consequences." Mary, in a very, very sad mood, replied, saying, "I thought you loved me." Boniface replies mockingly, "Love? I never promised you anything. You left me for Peter. I can never forgive you for that." Mary was so heartbroken. She lived in regret, knowing she had made the greatest mistake of her life. The perfect family she had with Peter was gone, and she was left with nothing but the pain of her decisions. She watched from afar as Peter rebuilt his life and found happiness again, a happiness she could never be part of. Thank you very much for watching. Let us know what you feel about this story in the comment section.